always loved nonprofit and mission-based organizations, worked inside about 5 associations. Finally was the COO of one and missed working with people and leadership and strategy. And so started Vista Cova about 5 years ago, became a certified professional facilitator. At this point, we're working with about 80 to 90 associations a year on strategic planning and visioning, board development and governance. And it's from a place of passion, right? I really have a deep-seated belief that in a world where we're ever more unfortunately divisive, that which can help heal us are places where we can gather, places where we can hear each other better, and right where we can associate. And hopefully associations have the potential through their missions to gather people of diverse backgrounds with a similar passion, cause, profession, industry, and to bring their voices together and to, with that, make the communities better, to make our society better. And so there's a nice moment here to balance and blend historical context. What can we learn with the possibility of what's to come? And that I have found is a lot more open than there's been in the past because there's fresh voices at the table. It's a good question, Jake, because I think the other place of it is that this has forced us, right? This time has forced us to think creatively about how do we not only rely on those in-person moments, but if we're not able to be in person, how do we hear each other, right? Like, how do we actually, with intention, get places of connection, of collaboration, of hearing? And so when it comes to strategic planning, right, like, frankly, strategy isn't a one-time every 3-year thing, right? It's an ongoing conversation. And so at least the philosophy I try to bring to the table with that is, how do we help our organizations have a mindset and a philosophy of being deeply curious? And hopefully with a curiosity mindset, that means that what we know at this moment is not going to be sufficient for the future we want to create. We have to ask questions and we have to seek discovery. And through that can come a better mapping and design of the future. And if you think about like this moment in time, this is the only way you're going to connect with people right now is through the intentional seeking out and asking of questions. Is that we do a okay job in terms of recognition of organizations and the award programs we have. We do an okay job of like recognition of the work of associations, but what we don't do an amazing job of is having places like shows like this one as well, right? That try to elevate those that have voices of leadership and inspiration in the overarching field. That isn't an award, but just can be hopefully an example to others about what is the mindset and what is the experience of someone who has had a successful career, who is a leading voice, so that within there can be some attenuation of those that are listening and thinking about, is that something that resonates within me? Is that something that I can aspire towards? And so that's the point of Rockstars, right? It's really to try to take and elevate varying voices with intentionally diverse representation across all the different definitions, and to give just brief moments where our larger association community can maybe just be introduced to someone they don't know. Well, I think I love the emotional reset that you're talking about, right? The refill that you're talking about. But I also think that within there, at least I hear you mentioning, Ben, is where are we seeking opportunity to be able to hear passionate perspectives that we don't hold at this moment, but that could open our eyes, right, to a new point of view. And there's energy in that as well, right? The beauty and passion of discovery. And we get that through sources, through books, but especially through people and their stories. And hopefully these kind of efforts lead to that as well. I'm not sure if Congress would be better if they all had a DISC assessment right now. you know what I mean? But would it be better if they could collectively make an agreement that we would be better if we were interested in hearing what each other had to say more than talking loudest? Yeah, I do. I think so. I think it's really the questions we can ask that open the doors of understanding of ourselves and of others, right? And I think in part, look, if you're going to be a good facilitator, at least from my point of view, it means that you feel like your voice is the least important in the room, right? Like my voice is present, I hope, to ask the right questions. And where I can like be a little bit of consultant and share my like cross-organizational perspectives, I'm happy to do so. but my voice isn't there to determine. My voice is there to enable other voices to be shared and for other people to hear each other. And so where's there the opportunity for us to design more collaborative conversations where individual voices can be heard by many other voices, and what can surface are a multitude of concepts, and you see where there's resonance, and that's what rises to the top. And so if the loudest voice in the room doesn't have a platform to shout the loudest, then it doesn't happen in the first place. Because I'm reading right now a book by Priya Parker, but she has a quote that you should listen deeply enough that what you learn can change you, right? And I love that, right? Like, how do we have the intention to listen deeply enough that what we learn can change us?
You're articulated.
Well, isn't that part of the curiosity mindset, Joe? Right? Like, if you are willing to recognize that you'll be better if you're curious and ask questions and try to discover, then you have to inherently believe that whether or not you're going to agree with the other person, that what they say has legitimacy or validity. And if you're serving in a leadership capacity for an organization with mission with others, then even if you inherently disagree with the approach that they say, there has to be a trust that you are both there to see that mission advance, that there's going to be a better world because of it. And we can disagree on how we get there, right? But at our heart, like, we're both here for the same reason. We're trying to do the right thing.
I'm ready for